Hello students, welcome to week 1 of the Accounting Principles class. I hope and pray your week is going really well. One of the videos we distribute each week for our online courses here at ACU is a mini lecture. The mini lecture gives you an overview of what is coming your way during the upcoming week while briefly hitting some of the important concepts from the text, from the course text that is. These video mini lectures they're not comprehensive, okay, but they're meant to point you in the right direction, so make sure you're reading and digesting the assigned reading as well, because that's really where the meat of everything is at. Let's take a look at week 1 for this course. I'd like you to read chapter 1 of the course text this week. This will not be the last time you read this chapter, so don't worry if you come across terms or concepts that you don't understand. You're going to have plenty of time to dig back into it. We're spending a couple of weeks in this chapter. As you read this sort of a text, let me give you some hints about how to read. This is true for scholarly work as well, but especially for course texts like this. First, read the learning objectives in the beginning of the chapter. Get a feel for what's coming at you and what the authors or the researchers want you to know. So read those learning objectives. Next, skim the chapter from the front to the back. Don't read it thoroughly though, okay? Don't get sidetracked with doing any deep reading. Just look for the major subtitles and peek at the charts and the graphs and the tables. Kind of know where everything is at and what the big topics are. After that, read the summary or the conclusion at the end of the chapter. Again, don't worry about doing problem sets or anything else like that. Read the beginning, read the end, skim through the middle of it, and then as you go skimming through the middle of it, take notes off to the side on a piece of paper or something. I take notes in the margins of the book. That's just what I do. I don't plan on reselling my books though. If you plan on reselling your books, don't write in the margins. You'll get less value for them. But in any way, make sure you're taking notes along the way as you read or skim from the front to the back. So again, make sure you're looking at the learning objectives first, skim the chapter, and then read the end conclusion. Now, after that, you go off looking for some answers to the questions that you might be asking yourself. In this case, I want you to wait for just a minute because I'm going to give you some questions to go after. So before I send you off hunting for some answers to some questions, let's take a moment and talk about the basics of accounting principles that we're covering this week. So accounting is an information system that measures, processes, and communicates financial information. Kind of think of accounting as a very structured language, both verbal and written. It's a very structured language that business people use to communicate the financial status of their business. So during this course, you're going to learn the basics of that language. You're going to learn to speak a new language, if you will, so you can have conversations with business people about their business. Said differently, the language of accounting links business activities to decision makers or to management. Okay? Management must have a good understanding of accounting to set financial goals and make financial decisions. Managers like yourself, you're going to be a manager someday and a leader. Managers must not only understand how accounting information is put together, how it's compiled, and how it's processed, but also realize that accounting information is oftentimes imperfect and it should be interpreted with some caution. In business, you have to be able to question, analyze the financial data that's being presented to you by other people. It could be factual or it could be erroneous. And your business could depend on it, especially if it's wrong information that you're making decisions on. So this course is going to teach you a new language that you can use to assess and evaluate business documents or your business. Also know that there are two different accounting categories. There's financial accounting and managerial accounting. That said, here are some questions for you to go hunt down in this chapter after you read the learning objectives, skim the chapter, and then read the conclusions and whatnot. Again, make some notes, but here are some questions I want you to go looking at after you do that. First question, what are the differences between the two categories of financial accounting and managerial accounting? Why are there differences? Why do we need two different perspectives on the same set of data? Think about that and see if you can find the answer. And I want you to go look for the 4 questions that must be answered when making an accounting measurement. So 4 questions in that chapter, and they're called out, questions that need to be answered before you dive into and do an accounting measurement. Okay, listen, that's it for now. I'll be available during the virtual office hours on Tuesday evening from 6 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. Mountain Time, your time. Contact me with questions in between time. Have a great week, and remember, God is on his throne. He's always been there, and he always will be.